hear Bhagavatam, and Krishna will make it once, I will revive it. And Maharaj made his disciples go on a shift and just simply recite the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam 24 hours actively listen. And the doctors refused to see him. 3 days after, the same doctor came and he looked at Maharaj, and by that time Maharaj's left hand he could move, otherwise he was paralyzed, but by this time his left hand he could move, and he saw the doctor and he raised his hand and he said, Hare Bol. The doctor said, oh, you are doing quite well, sir. And he replied, yes, because you are not here. and there was more pastimes with doctors and nurses in the hospital. Maharaj gave them great wisdom of, how it is Krishna who revives and who cures. And Maharaj would always ask any doctor in the audience, you think you can cure? And of course, one intelligent doctor replied, no Maharaj, we can only treat, curing Krishna does. Maharaj said, you are a good doctor. So now we'll have the next place, Hare Krsna, to make an offering for Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare.
MahaVishnu Goswami MahaVishnu Actually, Maharaj was seen as Bristol many years ago. He came for a... Do you remember? Maharaj came? Which year was that?
After the Bhagavad Sapta.
So what year was that?
Which year was it? 2002, I think. 2002 or 3? 3 maybe, yeah.
2002. Yeah. So almost 22 years ago he came, and we were all like new devotees and trying to understand the Krishna consciousness, trying to understand the scriptures, trying to understand the Parampara. And I have a big memory that Maharaj stayed here and he did some home programs. He, of course, did the Bhagavad class at the Bangalore temple. And one thing you could see that Maharaj was presenting some Bhagavad in a very, very jolly manner, but making very serious points. We can also see that if any one of you would request, if you are not subscribed to Granth Raj, you should subscribe to the emails which come daily from Granth Raj. And this is the his disciples' recollections and notes of all his pastimes with Maharaj. And basically it speaks about the life lessons from Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, if you understand that a devotee like that, they have no other life. Sometimes when we are in the temple, we are Krishna conscious, but when we go out from here, then we, like assume our normal material life. Or something like Maharaj, you see so many pastimes and so many interactions with devotees, he will just make sure that even his disciples understand that life has to be lived according to Srimad Bhagavatam. And if some disciples are, like stubborn, or some disciples are, not willing to surrender, we will make sure, repeatedly, as Maharaj was saying, please, make sure that the disciple understands that our life has to be lived according to Srimad Bhagavatam. There's a verse in the third canto where when Vidurji and Maitreji are meeting, they're saying very nicely, he says, Durapo hi alpa tapasa. Durapo means very difficult for someone who's alpa tapasa. Alpa means less. So someone who goes through less austerity, Seva Vaikuntha Vratprasu. So someone who is less austere, they will hardly understand someone who yatropa pigayate nityam. There's someone who is always, like Maharaj, is always thinking about Krishna consciousness. And if we come in association with Maharaj, and if we are less austere, then the last one says Seva Janardana. So he, Maharaj, is always speaking, thinking, meditating about Janardana, about Vaikuntha, about Krishna's pastimes. And even if you are close to someone, a devotee like that, because of our less austerity, it will be hard for us to understand what they are speaking. That's why when when Jayanta Maharaj was speaking, that when he was giving class, Maharaj was hearing very carefully. The rest everyone was doing what they were doing, but Maharaj was hearing very carefully. So this shows that yes, someone who is willing to hear with rapt attention, that austerity we have to go through. The moment we sit down, we know that okay, the modes are going to conquer us. We all experience that the moment we sit down, the modes are going to conquer us. But then when we have the urge to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then of course then the effect happens. We also know that the spiritual mass is like a telescope. Telescope is one which brings distant things very close to us. So similarly, very difficult concepts which are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. I myself have understood many of these concepts because of the emails coming from Grantaraj. We discussed that the emails, the verses are given, Maharaj's commentary is there, and then the discussions are given. So very wonderfully, very simply, but very very light manner, we can understand very serious concepts of Srimad Bhagavatam. For me, of course, as we said, the tree is known by the fruit it gives. So I wrote to Vyasa Puja, he says, before he came to Brisbane, we were all thinking that we were preaching. But actually, after he came, that he instilled the culture of Srimad Bhagavatam. And then look at us, all where we are. In just a few short years, we are all benefiting from this culture of Srimad Bhagavatam, which one of the dearest sons of Maharaj is said here. So thank you, Guru, thank you very much. All goes to this MahaVishnu Maharaj, all goes to all the disciples, as Jayanta Maharaj said. And we see so many stories of Maharaj's disciples that made Srimad Bhagavatam their life and soul. And again, if we take a message from here, we should also try to make Srimad Bhagavatam our life and soul. And if you don't want to make it, Viraj is going to force us to make it. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. There's many disciples of Srila Prabhupada are known by their own specialities which they are attached to. And by now I think it's apparent to everyone that His Holiness MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj was very much attached to Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna, and he was always absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam. He had this reputation. And one of his sayings was, breathing of the sound vibration of Srimad Bhagavatam is more important than breathing of air. And he would make sure that not a moment is gone by when he is not reciting or he is not hearing, as Prabhuji very nicely mentioned. Speaking is one thing, but having the attraction to hear is another thing. And he was attached to both hearing and glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, and also vichara, thinking very, very deeply on this subject matter, and being able to communicate complex concepts of Srimad Bhagavatam in a very, very simple way that struck the hearts of devotees. I would like to call upon the Gokul Prabhu. Maharaj used to frequently visit Arab countries, and Prabhuji has met Maharaj there and heard from Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Mukham karoti vachal pangul langayate yakrapaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatani Paramanandamatam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Vanchakalpadarubhyasya Kripasantam Evacha Patitanam Manavebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo. So it's a great day. Even it's been a working day, invited and facilitated by devotees and the disciples of His Holiness MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj, that we get an opportunity to get purified on a working day, which is very glad. So that's what it is, all this great exalted Vaishnavas. So very thankful to the Hare Krsna for inviting us. So as Prabhu said, as we were in the Middle East, I've got quite direct association with Maharaj, where I used to visit Abu Dhabi and with all the God family of Hare Krishna Prabhu, where they used to host him very well. And I personally served him also. It's a great opportunity for me. So today it's my privilege that I can glorify a few words for the great devotee of Sri Krishna and great disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So what happened once, I was just hearing some glorification. So they were sharing Maharaj's schedule. We all know he gets up early in the morning, 2 o'clock, and starts his sadhana. So they told Maharaj is very, very personal with all his disciples. So you should call, he'll keep it Monday, Tuesday, Friday, I call so-and-so Middle East, then Wednesday, Thursday, call Singapore, like that. And he's got a phone diary where he writes the numbers and keeps. So all of the phone numbers, Maharaj will resemble the phone number to a sloka of Bhagavatam, like this. The phone number is 314, he write 3.2.4, like that, 3rd canto, 2nd chapter. So he'll pick that verse before calling that person. So if at all he asks anything else, that purport will make him speak up properly. So that was the way he's connected to Srimad Bhagavatam. So there's no words. So even Maharaj is like, as we all know, like the old age, like he takes time for his day-to-day activities. So he gets up at 2 o'clock and first he goes to shave his things. So during that shaving time, he'll chant like around 10-15 slokas while shaving himself. Then he'll brush, he'll chant slokas, then he'll take bath. By the time he finishes bath, they tell like he'll finish 2 chapters of Bhagavad Gita narration, like or chanting the slokas. So that's the way he was so connected with the Shastras. Then one time one disciple asked, Maharaj, you are so humble, like you don't even give your clothes to wash for others to wash. So Maharaj told, yes, I don't give clothes to anyone to wash actually. It's not a matter of my humbleness. It's that because you all don't know how to wash my clothes. That's why I know. Because even though you have quit meat eating, you will show your violence in the way you squeeze and rinse the dhoti. And which very, very affects me. I don't like it. So he just says like that. Then he tells actually that's what cloth, bhakti is like the fabric of cloth. If the fabric is strong enough, maybe how much ever tormentation, in the washing machine the cloth gets tormented, it doesn't tear easily over here. Like we all see that Prabhuji's kurtas, it's for more than 5 years, but not the Mataji's. They just change very frequently. So, if the fabric is strong, the kurta, it stays like that. Bhakti, he tells the foundation should be strong. The Shastrical understanding and the Shastrical reference should be very strong so that we stay long with this revelation in mind. That's what he used to tell. Then one time, it was I think so. One Prabhu wanted to get married, so we came to Maharaj to take blessings. Maharaj, please bless me. I'm going to get married. Maharaj smiled. That means you're finished. No, Maharaj, please bless me. He blessed him. Then he went. He got married. After 1 year, he met him again in another program. Then the Maharaj asked him, how are you? How is marriage life? Then he told Maharaj, marriage life is good. Then Maharaj immediately told, don't lie to me. Then he told, marriage and good cannot go well. Both are contrary. better tell straightforward what is how is life. Then that Prabhu was a little bit silent and he told, I know marriage and good cannot go well, but even though if you are not married, in the heart, always keep a space or keep a soft corner for being a brahmachari in your heart. That means he told, even though you are married, you can be brahmachari. How? By taking the shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. When you have the Bhagavatam completely with you, whatever ashram you take, it's not going to shake you up. You can just go forward. So, but the moment you leave Bhagavatam, you fall down. That's what it is. So, Srimad Bhagavatam is such a great companion as Sanatana Goswami glorifies Kali Dando Didoditya Krishna Parivartaka. So that's why it opens light to all of the ashrams. Srimad Bhagavatam is a ray of light. So MahaVishnu Swami were always stressed on reading Bhagavatam, is a great epitome of it. Then as Prabhu narrated that London incident I was hearing, it was very, it's very beautiful. So as Prabhu told, Maharaj was supposed to take a blood thinner to make his blood thin so that it doesn't get clogged again and this thing. As Maharaj refused it, then as that Prabhu told that doctor came, if you don't take it, then give a disclaimer that you won't take it, then so that we are not responsible. But we assure you that tomorrow you won't be alive. Then Maharaj rightly said that, yeah, I won't take this medicine, I'll take another medicine. What is the medicine name? The doctor asked. Then it's Srimad Bhagavatam, he tells. What is Bhagavatam? The doctor did not know. So they, please show her a copy of Bhagavatam. They show the Bhagavatam. This is not the medicine, this is a book. Yeah, this is my medicine. You don't worry, you go. Tomorrow morning, I'll be alive, you come. Then as Prabhu told her, she went, she came back as Maharaj is alive. Then when he tells the doctor, we don't know how long you're going to live, but I know I'm going to live long. Then she was shocked. Then after some couple of weeks, she came back again. Maharaj was a little bit better. Then he asked, you seem to be an Indian, right? What's your name? And she replied, my name is Maya. Maharaj smiled. Okay. You do your duty what you're good at it. I do my duty what I'm good at it. So he started reading Bhagavatam when she was really like that. Then Maharaj told, I have a habit of I'm rolling down, like my legs can't stretch, sometimes I kick it, so you don't stay here and kick you. That means you can kick my out. By the shelter of Bhagavatam. So that was Maharaj's great potency. So we are so fortunate. Then I just have one more thing. So, and Maharaj, as I told in Abu Dhabi, I know Prabhu's God family, they had a daughter, she was 8 years. Maharaj always was so careful, like very, caring with all these kids actually. Her name was Mangla, the child's name, and she came and she took blessings. And Maharaj, what's your name, Mangla? The next question is what? Do you understand Mangla? That's very nice. She didn't know that the parents were very driven by emotions. So yes, Maharaj, of course, we trained her. And she told if she's hungry Mangalati, then I'll initiate her. And she was at 8 or 9. She told, I'm ready to take it and give her initiation. So Maharaj was so attached to the kids so much. Then one time one Prabhu asked, Prabhu, Maharaj, how do we know the success of chanting? Maharaj told, don't think. Don't think. That was the answer. Maharaj, but how do we know that we are chanting nicely? Maharaj, don't think. This Prabhu didn't understand. Maharaj, I think I'm not chanting, but that's what I don't think. Maharaj, but I always think I can improve chanting. That's what I don't think. Then that he didn't understand what Maharaj was stressing. He told Maharaj, we have this feeling, sometimes we chant, all the thoughts come in the day, right? In the morning we chant, but today I have to do this, today I have to do that. Like the thoughts flow. That means our planning goes meticulously when chanting only actually. So if you chant well, that means you have planned well the thing. So if the planning goes well, that means you feel I've got a satisfaction that I chanted well. So actually Maharaj told that your planning well during chanting means that is the worst chanting. So chanting is spiritual, thinking is, planning is material. So don't think while chanting. That means when you chant. Just glorify the Lord. That is what is called chanting. Because, and he stressed another point with that the ISKCON's fundamental principle is preaching. But many people think they used to write a letter to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, in our center, only few people are coming, there are a lot of no one is coming up, what shall we do? And he told what Prabhupada gave a response is that the fundamental principle is preach, that means just glorify Lord, glorify Krishna. That is what is what. You don't bother about how many people are coming, how many people are not coming. You just glorify, things will change. So Maharaj was so much attached to the glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's right. Upadiyamana, that's what the glorification of Krishna gets completed when it's been heard and glorified when we follow the Guru Parampara. So when we just listen to the words of such great devotees, Krishna becomes so happy. So we are so fortunate that we have been extended glories, and we have been hearing glories of His Holiness MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj by Raj Krishna Prabhu and all the other devotees. So we thank all the disciples of MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj for organizing this wonderful program, and we seek blessings and offer our prayers so that we go forward in this spiritual journey, as well as get more and more inclined to the taste of reading Srimad Bhagavatam and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, so that we can be the tool in Prabhupada's mission to take this forward. So once again, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His Holiness MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
That reminds me that first time Maharaj visited Abu Dhabi, I was not known to anyone, and there was some miscommunication in his arrival time. So Maharaj had arrived at the apartment of the devotee, where the devotee was supposed to arrive. But the devotee, instead of AM, he got the message PM. So Maharaj was all that time for almost 10 hours just waiting downstairs. And that whole 10 hours Maharaj just utilized in reciting and reading Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And when this devotee came, and he was quite shocked to see Maharaj sitting there on the steps, and he asked, Maharaj, how long have you been waiting for? So Maharaj told him that, it's been quite a while, son. And he gave the hours. And then that devotee remarked that if there is any other person, they would be very angry. They would at least be very hungry. And hunger would lead to anger eventually. But His Holiness MahaVishnu Goswami, he did not have a tinge of anger or frustration. He just accepted this is Krishna's desire, and he wants, he has made this arrangement and given the opportunity. And he used to, Maharaj always quote this verse, Samanjasa, Krishna gives us opportunity every time. And one of the favorite verses of his, which gives the 5 characteristics of a pure devotee. We can repeat. Titikshava karunikaha, Sovrida sarvadehinam, Ajata shatrava shanta, Sadhava sadhu bhushanam, Titikshava, tolerance was one of the 4 marks of Srila Gurudev, and therefore he was able to be merciful as well. And his mercy knew no bounds. He would be very, very considerate to an individual's position and situation. I remember once a disciple came during his Vyasa Puja time. He bowed down and he gave the dakshina, and Maharaj retained the dakshina to him. He said, no, Shamsundar, for a few years you have given, now you don't have work. Maharaj knew his situation. And you have a young daughter, you have to arrange for the marriage, you take the money. And then he did not even look Krishna Maharaj got that deer, he just gave it to the devotee. You please take this. You please use it. That devotee, tears in his eyes, he could not believe what Maharaj is saying. He did not want to take the money, but Maharaj was so insistent out of love. Maharaj entered Dwarka town with one disciple from Belgium. His name was Taral Gochana. And Maharaj didn't have any fixed booking of a dharmashala or an apartment. He found a tree and he said, this is a good place. And he just sat under the tree and started reciting Bhagavatam. Whoever would come, they would sit down and listen to Bhagavatam from him. And the servant would just go around and do some madhukari, come back and put something on the streets. After a few weeks, the word spread around that a sadhu has come who is just reading Srimad Bhagavatam, doing nothing else, just goes to Gomti, has bath there, comes back, reads Srimad Bhagavatam. And one rich person from Delhi, he was originally from Dwarka, and he had a dharmashala up there, and he wanted to give it to some sadhu for taking. And when he heard about Maharaj, that this sadhu is there, he came and he saw, and he said, Maharaj, I have a dharmashala here. No one is there to look after, and it's just sitting idle. Why don't you come and you just take it? I just want to give it away to you. So Maharaj always used to say that everything is a byproduct of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tato jayam udire. Srimad Bhagavatam conquers everything. But nonetheless, Maharaj was never attached to the place. As soon as he built the temple there, the very next morning, he went to Rajkot. And the Rajkot, the land there was barren. Nothing at that time was there in that Kalavat road. And I remember at that time, the second highest donor of ISKCON was Radha Jivan Prabhu. And he came to see Maharaj, and he saw that it's all thorns and just bush and grass, and in the middle, Maharaj is sitting there with his kartals, with an umbrella. And he went there, Maharaj, द्वारका में इतना अच्छा स्थान है, आप यहाँ क्या कर रहे हो? वो स्थान हो गया, अब इस स्थान में प्रचार करना है. And he said, Maharaj, चलिए. He held his hand, he said, यहाँ हमारा काम नहीं है, बंजर जमीन है एकदम, यहाँ कुछ नहीं उगने वाला. So Maharaj said, तुम बैठो. And Maharaj brought his kartal out and said, let's do kirtan here. And anyone who goes to Rajkot now will see there's a thriving temple, thriving community there, along with Goshala, deities of Radhanil Madhav, Shri Ramanuja, Hanuman, and Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani. So Maharaj had, he never wanted or was never interested in having a comfortable situation. And to some extent, I feel also that I've got a similar case. That we keep moving from one place to another, one place to another. And we cannot compare with him. But just trying to even imitate is very satisfying. That's all, I guess I can do. So remembering Maharaj Ramanuja Prabhu, would you like to say something? And any Mataji's, please, would like to make an offering. I know many Mataji's are getting Maharaj's offering. Push. Yes.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So when
ज्ञानदेवृत्तिसहिताय जनसारं चक्षुः I haven't prepared anything, but I will say something about Maharaj. First, I'd like to say how I was introduced to Krishna consciousness, and then with our Gurudev, MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj. In Fiji, we used to be sitting down, and time to time you used to see knock on the door, and there used to be church people coming with the tower, that book, that magazine they used to sell. They used to give watchtowers. And my dad used to say, and investing up in an tower there. That means give him 20 cents, let him go. So we used to get this regularly, and one time there was a knock on the door. When I opened the door, there was some American people with dhoti on, and this is my early days, when Krishna consciousness was introduced in Fiji. And they said, Hare Krishna. I said, Hare Krishna? And they said, you know Krishna? I said, yes, I know Krishna. He said, you know who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? I said, yeah, we got Shiva Bhagavan, we got Ganesh, we got... So he said, no, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he started talking, and then I thought, look at this, he's from a different country, white person in dhoti, and start talking about Krishna. Then he told me something. He said, do you chant? I said, no. He said, why don't you chant Hare Krishna? And then he gave me a small, written Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare. He said, chant with me. So I chanted 1 or 2 or 3 times, and he said, you keep this? Have you got beads? I said, no. So he said, okay, I don't think so he had any extra beads or anything, but he said, you just chant this, and you'll see a difference in yourself. So he said, don't think that you'll get a difference within 2 months or 3 months or 2 days. Give yourself 6 months. If you feel, you are taking up, you're progressing, or you're getting focused, and then you carry on. I said, okay. So I went to my room and I started chanting, and in front of my dad I couldn't chant because they said, Sadhu is on. So I used to sit in my room and start chanting, and after a little while I could feel there is some difference, focus was coming through, and then one day I met Nan Kishore. We all know Nan Kishore. So he started talking with me, and he said, why don't you come to our temple? So we started going to temple, I think it was Saturday or Sunday evening, mornings. So once we started going, and I think LB Masters, so he was giving classes, and Nan Kishore was giving classes, and then they said, do Ekadashi, then me and my wife, and we started doing Ekadashi from those days. And then we migrated to Australia, and then we met, we were going to Eastbourne Temple, and in those days, a few Maharajas coming in. I remember MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj, he came around too, and we invited him at home, so he came home, and I was attracted to him, and then I found out that Mulli Manor had taken initiation from him. Then after a few years, there was Bhagavad Sapta in Sydney. I had a business at the time, and I managed to take 2 days off and go to Sydney. And his family was there, so he introduced me to MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj and said, Maharaj, he wants to take shelter of you. At that time I was just doing, I think, 7 or 8 rounds. Maharaj looked at me and said, alright, this evening, I'll give you initiation. I was shocked. I said, okay, that's good. Anyway, so then at that time the rumors were that Maharaj was giving initiation, but ISKCON wasn't recognizing it. So I told Maharaj, I said, Maharaj, if I tell people in Brisbane, what will they say? He said, don't worry, just go and tell them that you've been initiated by me. So when I went there, a lot of people, they said congratulations and all that. Then after, I think, after the Sapta, Maharaj came to our place. I think that time he came. And I had my Bhagavad Gita sitting on my table. And he looked at it, he said, that's a brand new Bhagavad Gita. I said, yes, Maharaj. He said, when did you buy this? When did you get it? I said, I think about 6-8 months ago. He said, you haven't even opened it. And I felt really bad. I thought, he's right, I should have actually gone through it. But anyway, when I rang Maharaj, he always used to ask about his family and say with him. When he rang, he used to ask about my son. And I think that we know as Maharaj was very jolly, One time in his lecture, Maharaj said, Krishna had lived in Dwarka for 100 years. He must be a Gujarati. Then he started laughing, everyone started laughing. And I heard this from one of the disciples. He said, when he was building the temple in Dwarka, there was a serious storm or something. And Maharaj, all the disciples said, where is Maharaj? They started looking for Maharaj. So when they saw Maharaj, he was on the top floor, just chanting Hare Krsna. All the disciples came, they started chanting. And Maharaj just closed his eyes and started chanting very loudly. So after a little while, the storm passed away. And then people were talking about, so much damage was done here and there, but there was nothing done to the temple. And I remember my trip. So one second, let's always say to pass the mission.
MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. So on this very special occasion, I've written offering some words that I feel from my heart. So even though I didn't know Maharaj personally, it feels like I have seen him through His Grace Krishna Prabhu's classes. And like a father passes on his most precious possessions to his beloved son, Maharaj has passed on Srimad Bhagavatam. The best of all knowledge, the best of all wealth, the best of all guidance, the highest will. So normally when people are my age, we write a will for our kids to have what is ours, so that their life is comfortable. So as always, I've written a poem on this sentiment about a father passing on his deepest treasures. I'm going to read it out. The poem is called The Will. When the hour arrives, quiet and grand, to offer the harvest of patient hands, the Father stands with heart serene, bearing the treasure of what he has seen. Not gold, not land, nor fleeting acclaim, for worldly riches leave but only a name. But that which endures, eternal and true, the gift of the soul, the sacred hue. Through days of labor, nights of prayer, on humble mats with tender care, through weary limbs and a heart refined, he gathered the words, the truth divined. He gave the saffron robe he wore, a smile that fell like petals on the floor, words that blossomed with courage and light, and Srimad Bhagavatam, holy and bright. A gift of mercy beyond worldly measure, a treasure eternal, the highest pleasure. The Father's devotion, deep and vast, flows in each verse, each teaching cast. The Son now takes the torch, heart afire, bearing the lamp of his Father's desire. With love and courage, he walks the way, keeping the sacred flame alight each day. He carries the fragrance of his Father's soul, the teachings, the love, the heart made whole. Through his hands, the same mercy flows, a river of light that forever more glows. The Father's will is a promise, steadfast and clear. I am with you in my words and in prayers. In blessings, in guidance, you will find me everywhere. In presence eternal, I am just a call away. So the Son now becomes a living Bhagavad too, holding the treasure, letting mercy flow through. Step by step, heart to heart, love to love, devotion hearts. Maharaj lives on, now in the Son's song. Through sacred verses he carries along. From father to son, the light is passed, a jewel eternal meant to last. So, His Grace Hare Krishna Prabhu is the Son, and I guess we all have to become those sons. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Namo Hare Krishna Sadhguru Srimate MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj. Namo Hare Krishna Sadhguru Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namo. I don't have a lot to share. I've connected to Maharaj through his transcripted classes. Every time we're giving a Bhagavatam, I'm giving a Bhagavatam class, and you look for some inspiration online, you look for someone to copy from, right? As someone who's giving Bhagavatam. And he is the only one who's given so many classes on Srimad Bhagavatam that for every verse, some article or something or the other comes up online. And as a mother, I find that it's very hard to hear all these classes. So I often read these classes, and I'm grateful to the disciples of Maharaj that they have actually transcribed most of the classes. So I'm able to read them, and I often quote him in the Bhagavatam classes that I give. So I'm really grateful to him for that inspiration. Another thing I'm really grateful to him for is he was the first disciple in the second generation to start giving initiation. So there were so many people who were actually waiting for him to initiate them because he was very inspiring. People were ready to wait for him, and he was the first one in the second generation to start giving those initiations. And my Guru Maharaj also belongs to that second generation as well. So in a way, I feel he's opened those doors for the second generation initiating gurus, because there was a lot of discussion from what I heard had happened during those times. A lot of meetings had happened. It was quite a sensitive time at GBC. So I'm grateful to him that he opened those doors And today we can see that we have a lot of second generation devotees, sannyasis giving initiation. So I'm thankful to him for that. I was listening to His Holiness Radhanath Swami glorifying Maharaj, and one of the things many people are mentioning hospitals. And Radhanath Swami, His Holiness Radhanath Swami said, Maharaj hated hospitals. No one ever hates anything, but he said that his disciples mentioned that he hates hospital, such a strong word, but he actually hated the hospitals, which he must really hate it. But then when he went to Bhaktivedanta Hospital, he actually said, this is Vrindavan. That was his comment, this is Vrindavan. And that's where he left his body as well, in Bhaktivedanta Hospital. And Radhanath Swami says this was a very important lesson for each one of us, because each one of us desire to go back to Vrindavan. When we think about death, that's where we want to be. But his message was very clear, that wherever Srila Prabhupada is, wherever his instructions are followed correctly, that's where Vrindavan is, and that's where he left the body. So that was a very important message that he left for each one of us. I think that's all I wanted to share. Thank you so much. His Holiness MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Mutale Srimati MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Mutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. I was also listening to Radhanath Maharaj's glorification about MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj this morning, and as Hare Krsna was mentioning his first meeting with Srila Prabhupada, and how that first instruction hit his heart, and so Radhanath Maharaj was recalling that how when Srila Prabhupada, the similarity between Srila Prabhupada and MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj, and how Srila Prabhupada, when he met his spiritual master first time, he was in his heart he had taken initiation, and like how Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj said that you go out and preach. So Maharaj also gave the same Prabhupada also gave the same instruction to MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj, but Maharaj was very, as Radhanath Maharaj said, that he was a very responsible grahastha, and he wanted to fulfill his duties before he was able to take the next step. And then Radhanath Maharaj recalls this pastime of when he had stroke in London, MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj, and he visited Maharaj in the hospital, and he was saying that even that in that difficult situation, in that difficult physical situation, he was philosophically surcharged. He was revealing his heart, and then we've heard so many throughout this Vyasa Puja that his absorption was so deep in Bhagavatam. And that is something that we all can inspire. Radhanath Maharaj was recalling a funny incident in London when Maharaj was visiting MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj, and MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj got to know that Radhanath Maharaj has a sore throat. So MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj specially prepared ginger powder and honey mixture for Maharaj, and he just fed him with his own hands, and he was recalling that how now, because it's his Vyasa Puja, so I will, in his honor today, I will definitely have that honey and ginger powder mixture. So, this is all I have to share. All glories to MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. His Holiness MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj ki. So, as you can understand from the scriptures, the appearance and disappearance days of the spiritual master are equivocal. So, whether it's the appearance day or the disappearance day, the disciples and the devotees come together and glorify the spiritual master. So, we assemble here to glorify such a glorious spiritual master as well, Srila MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj. And we can see that, or we know that Krishna is eternal. We agree Krishna is eternal? Yes. And Srimad Bhagavatam, we know, is the literally incarnation of Krishna, which is also eternal. So, those devotees of Vaishnavas who live eternally through the manifestation of Srimad Bhagavatam, we can say that they are also eternal. So, MahaVishnu Maharaj was one of those devotees, we can say, that who lives eternally through the sound vibration of Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, he lives eternally. There's a nice verse in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.17. It says, Ayur harati vaipum sam udyam astam chayam aso tasyateya shanonita uttama shloka vartaya. You probably know this verse. So it says, translation, both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So we can see in our lives as well, there is sunrise and there is sunset, right? And the sun may also set on the body of a Vaishnava, but it never sets on the teachings or the instructions of a devotee. So in that purport, towards the end, Srila Prabhupada writes, a moment passed in the association of a pure devotee by hearing and chanting the transcendental messages of the Lord is a perfect guarantee for eternal life. So if you want any guarantees in our eternal life, in our lives, in our life to be eternal, this is what we have to do. Nicely taught by Maharaj. Now by hearing and chanting the transcendental messages of the Lord through Srimad Bhagavatam. Even in the Ramayana, it states, Eke ghadi adi ghadi ado me punya tulsi sangat sadhute kate kote puran. So even a moment's association of a pure devotee like Maharaj, now we can see all the sins are washed away. And then we can take shelter of Lord Sri Krishna. So by his own example, Maharaj taught us exactly this. That as long as we take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam and the devotees, we are guaranteed a ticket back to Godhead. And Maharaj was very exemplary. He lived and breathed Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is Srimad Bhagavatam? It's all the pastimes of Krishna. So we know that there's a nice bhajan says, Tumara Hirdoya Sada, Govinda Vishram, Govinda Kohena Mora, Vaishnava Pranam. So in the hearts of the devotees, who recites? Govinda. And the Lord Govinda says that the devotees are Pranam. So Maharaj was such a devotee. Very, very exemplary. So from this impetus, we get inspiration from Krishna, which brings us to the next verse. Now this is the inspiration verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. You might read it a bit later in your own time. It's 3:29:39. Very easy to remember. 3:29:39. Right? Nachasya kaschid daito nadvesho nacha pandavaha avisati apramato so pramattam janam antakrit. Translation. No one is dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor is anyone his enemy or friend. but he gives inspiration to those who have not forgotten him and destroys those who have. So, does this mean that Krishna likes someone and he doesn't like someone? And if he doesn't like you, he destroys you? No, Krishna always loves everyone. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely that it's not that Lord Krishna is someone's friend or someone's enemy, no. He likes everyone equally. But one who is not bewildered by influence of material energy is saved. And one who is bewildered by the material energy is destroyed. So we have a choice. One who revives his consciousness of his original relationship with the Lord receives inspiration from the Lord to save themselves from repeated birth and death by studying the pastimes of Krishna from Srimad Bhagavatam. So we can take shelter of Krishna or Maya. There is no other option. The choice is ours, right? And Maharaj very clearly made this choice for us as well, that if you take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll be saved. If you choose otherwise, you'll be destroyed. And this is exactly what this inspiration verse is talking about. So, in a metaphorical way, we can say that Maharaj was addicted to Srimad Bhagavatam. I was listening to Devakinandan Prabhu, and he was saying that this verse, towards the end, Maharaj was quite ill, and he was lying on his bed for 3 or 4 days. He hadn't eaten anything. And he asked Devakinandan Prabhu to recite some verses, or just read Srimad Bhagavatam. And halfway through this verse, I think Devakinandan Prabhu said he forgot the verse. And Maharaj completed it for him. And he hadn't spoken for like 3 or 4 days. And all this time, Prabhu was thinking, oh, I'm doing nice service for my Guru Maharaj by reciting all these nice Srimad Bhagavatam verses. But that point, I realized Maharaj was listening to everything I was saying when he completed the verse for him. So you can imagine the level of consciousness Maharaj had. It's almost like Srila Prabhupada lying on his bed and translating Srimad Bhagavatam. So, not only Maharaj, but as Shakira Prabhu said, a tree is known by its fruit, so we can see such nice devotees, and they're all doing such nice service in ISKCON, like His Grace Devakinandan Prabhu. Here we have His Grace Viraj Krishna Prabhu and other devotees, from whom we can learn how to study Srimad Bhagavatam actually, and make it our life and soul. I'll just one incident in Fiji, whenever Maharaj used to come, this is quite interesting. All the Fiji leaders are very interesting. So Maharaj will give nice classes, and then he'll come and sit in the prasadam hall. Right? So devotees will be lying like this, sitting on the floor, and Maharaj will sit on his chair like this, and then everyone will be served prasadam, and prasadam prayer will be said, but no one will start to eat. And Maharaj will say, you have to say one shlok, either from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, before you can honor the prasadam. So he'll be sitting and everyone will say, okay, one shlok, one shlok, one shlok, one shlok. And he came to one devotee and he said, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Maharaj looked at him and he laughed and he said, this time you are saved. Next time, no shlok, no prasadam. His Holiness MahaVishnu Goswami Maharaj ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. There's so much to say about Maharaj, but I'm quite cognizant of that. We'll have perhaps some other time, we may discuss more. So we'll have Pushpanjali now. Is that okay with everyone? We'll have Pushpanjali, and then thereafter Guru Puja, and then we can honor Prasada. Hare Krishna. Mesh, you can distribute the flower petals. So the flower petals have been distributed, you can overcome all. And you can divide the flower petals into 3 parts, and thereafter make the offering. If we can have everyone please come closer.
Krishna Sambandha Vignana
प्रियः वैष्णव सार्वभौमाश्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्त्याख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेषु गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते जयतां सुरतरो पङ्गो मम मन्दामते गते मत्सर्वस्य पदं भोजो राधा मदन मोहनो दिव्याद्वृन्दरण्या कल्पदुर्मदः श्रीमद् रत्नाकर सिंहासनस्थो श्रीमद् राधा शिव गोविन्द देवो प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् रसरसारम्भे वंशीवटतः स्थितः दर्शन वेणुस्वने गोपी गोपीनाथाश्रियस्तुनः तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादे पाश्चात्य नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते महाविष्णु गोस्वामी इति नामिने श्रीकृष्ण शरणं शरणागतं कथामृतं जय पुष्पांजलि
पुष्पांजलि।
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी नितिनामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते महाविष्णु गोस्वामी नितिनामिने श्री कृष्ण शरणम शरणागतम कथामृतम सतत पीबतम भक्ति वेदांता मार्गपंथनम सर्वलोक ऋषि देवजन प्रसन्नम एष पुष्पांजलि जय महाविष्णु गोस्वामी महाराज की जय गोस्वामी महाराज व्यास महोत्सव की जय नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांता स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते महाविष्णु गोस्वामी नितिनामिने श्री कृष्ण शरणम शरणागतम कथा अमृतम सतत पीबतम भक्ति वेदांता मार्गपंथनम सर्वलोक ऋषिदेव जन्न प्रसन्नम जय महाविष्णु गोस्वामी महाराज की जय महाविष्णु गोस्वामी महाराज व्यास पूजा महोत्सव की जय। जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय महाविष्णु गोस्वामी गुरुदेवा जय महाविष्णु गोस्वामी गुरुदेवा
Hare